All right, welcome everybody to Career Services presentation today on the hard case for soft skills. I'm Brenda Brinkerhoff, and I'm one of the Career Services advisors here. In our room today is Holly Picorni from Career Services. There's going to be a lot to cover in today's presentation, so if you have questions that I'm unable to answer, then you can privately message Holly. I encourage and welcome your participation, so if you'd like to contribute to the conversation, use the room chat bar where it says room, then I'll be able to see that. But yeah, message your advisor Holly privately if you have a separate discussion than what I'm presenting on today. There's Holly saying hello everybody, so that would be who you would want to talk to if you had questions outside of what I'm presenting. And I really do like your participation, so go ahead and put things in the chat room so that I can share those with our listeners that are going to be hearing the recording later on. So also, I'd like you to stay all the way to the end of the presentation because we have a lot of different resources that we use. I want to show them all to you. And also, you might want to take notes as we go along because I will be citing several different resources as I go along. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I like to do is just let you all know what Career Services purpose is and why we incorporate soft skills into our department. What we do is give specialized career-driven advice, of course, but we also educate you on how to build your own personal brand name. And we like to provide you the tools for networking and communication skills. Our goal is for you to obtain employment in your chosen field and receive the absolute highest salary possible. So you want to think of us as your career coach. And we provide employment opportunities for you to apply for different jobs. And then also we are dedicated in Career Services to your professional and personal development. And that's kind of where soft skills comes into play. So you might be asking, what is professional and personal development? I get that question almost every time after I explain this. From a definition found on businessdictionary.com, it says that what it basically refers to is the acquisition of skills and knowledge for career advancements, which encompasses all types of learning opportunities that range from your college degree that you're receiving here now, either in formal or informal coursework that's in a learning situation through practice and consultation, coaching, mentoring, and reflective supervision, which is why we offer soft skills resources in our Career Services department. So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense to you. And so then, well, you might be also wondering what the differences are between the soft skills and hard skills. Welcome, Sheila. We're just getting started. You haven't missed that much. So go ahead and give me a smiley face. Oh, can you hear me okay? Give me a smiley face when you're able to hear me okay. Hate to have you miss any more. All right, so oh, good. Okay, so what the differences are between the soft skills and hard skills. Again, this was found on businessdictionary.com. It says that unlike hard skills, which are about a person's skill set, basically what you're learning in college right now, which is the ability for you to perform a certain task or activities such as your education is showing you, soft skills are actual personal attributes that are often described by using terms associated with personality traits, the ability to be practical and to genuinely just like other people. It's often said that the hard skills will get you in an interview, but you will need soft skills to get and keep the job. So that's the difference. All right. Well, today I will be presenting the third webinar in the Soft Skills series, which is number 3 in a series of a total of 12. I do one each mod, so it will go on throughout the year. They last anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour each in hopes that this will help aid to improve your career readiness. Today's presentation will probably last about 45 minutes just for those who are looking to do something right at the next hour. Okay, so today we're going to discuss organizational skills. It's actually been long assumed that employee skills are just naturally occurring, but in fact they are not. Businesses are now only coming to the realization that their employees are lacking these soft skills needed. So as you see here, these different subtopics, we'll be touching on each one of those. The first topic is going to be on stress, on organization in the office. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Okay, so organization in the office. Here's 5 tips to get organized at work. And I just got them all right there. Number 1 is called chuck your junk. Just like when you're decluttering your home, think about whether or not you've needed something within the last year and make a toss pile. Make a store pile where you want to kind of keep that for another time, and make a currently active to-do pile. There's that takeout menu from the bankrupt sandwich shop that's down the street. You probably want to just toss that one. The budget report, though, you might actually need to store that away, but just keep only 1 copy, for example. And maybe a printout of a presentation that you're going to be giving on Friday, so you might want to keep that one close at hand. Those are just some ideas. And number 2 is store some more. So resist the urge to be a perfectionist in dealing with all your old paperwork. You'll be lost and it'll just create more havoc for you. So just create a way to organize your materials in a way that makes sense to you. Everybody has their own style. Everything related to the, for instance, an annual meeting could go in one labeled plastic bin or box, for example, and then work with your boss to find a place outside your office or cubicle to store stuff. So this is all based around the workplace again, and that you can utilize some of these tips for at home as well. Tackle your to-do list. Everybody's got a to-do list no matter what it entails, maybe it be at church or at work or at home. So this is where you should invest your efforts for the biggest payoff in the long term. Because sustainable organization would be incorporating file folders for each project that you're currently working on, maybe different colors and things that make sense to you. When you complete a project, just go through the file and discard the unimportant documents that you've been keeping. Then store the folder, which has been whittling down to including only the smaller essential projects, and put those in appropriate bins. So it's just kind of ideas to keep you clutter-free. All right, and then obviously at work, you have to have a clean surface, so keep your desk clear. The surface of your desk should now be absolutely visible. So if you've done what I've just told you, then hooray. Keep it that way. One surefire way to prevent clutter from accumulating on your desk is to adopt the one-touch rule. Deal with every piece of paper that crosses your desk immediately. Touch it, trash it, and then, or act on it and then trash it. So you really got to stay like that. Trash it, act on it, or file it are the 3 different options. Place it in your inbox until you have time to deal with it later. The one-touch rule is also applicable to like email. You want to either respond right away or direct your incoming messages to an appropriate folder, which I do in Outlook all the time. When I get emails I just can't get to, you can red flag them. Yeah, and then you can put them in a file that is directed towards that activity, and then you go back to it when you have extra time later, because you do have to stick to a schedule at work. And you could use these tips if you're working from home or if you're doing your schoolwork from a home office. And I know for me, as I do schoolwork at home, I need to have that same type of organization. And then lastly, 5, use your technology. So most people will have a phone or some sort of tablet, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit more as we go along. So strive to keep like the phone numbers and those other often used data things in your computer or in your mobile phone. Online organizers, which you can use to access, you could use it via your computer or your phone, can combine your calendar, your address book, your to-do list, and so much more. I know if I didn't have my cell phone, I would be absolutely at a loss. They can also send you the pop-up reminders that meetings are coming up or deadlines are due. And it may take a little time to master using those tools, but they will save you time in the long run. and it reduces a lot of sticky notes. So I used to be the sticky note queen, and no longer. I just kind of put everything in my phone, and I have a great warranty plan in case I ever lose it or it gets stolen. All right, so let's go to the next subtopic, which is on stress management, and we'll talk about this one just a little bit longer than the last. Let's see, what were you, okay, so schoolwork and okay, good. So it looks like you're utilizing some of those skills as well, Sheila. That's perfect. Oh, Lenitra, that's perfect. Thank you for sharing. Let's go ahead and talk about 5 ways to manage work stress. And you can have fun doing it too, believe it or not. Stress at work is something you can't escape, unfortunately. Workplace stress is just one of the most rising among Americans, and a massive 83% are stressed out at least about one thing at work each day. So it's also been identified as the #1 workplace risk issue. A large percentage of employees can see stress as an acceptable fallout of their professional lives and just ignore it. But what they don't realize or don't choose to look at is that it can be very detrimental. It can impact your health, your personal life, and in many cases, your psychological well-being. So taken together, this affects your productivity at the workplace and the quality of life as a whole. So it's important to manage stress, and what's more, not just manage it, but have fun along the way. And here are some tips to help you do that. So first, don't bring your work home. For an ideal work-life balance, you want to keep work and your home life separate. And I know if you're working from home, that can sometimes be hard to do, but it is to use your organizational skills. Then again, they're going to come in really handy. Try to keep your workplace separate in your home, not in a common area of your home if you are working from home, or if you're doing your studies from home or whatnot, then you want to make sure that you have it in a separate place. And yeah, you're mentioning yoga. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to talk about your physical care in a little bit with exercise and eating right. That's a huge part of stress management. For right now, just what I want to talk about is to not bring your work home, and if you are home, to keep it separate. So there's plenty of people who choose to carry their work home. This means that after a huge, long, slugging day at the office, you're going to be doing the same thing at home. It's not a good idea. So this not only means you're carrying your work stress home, but it also means you can't stop thinking about your work. Your mind needs a breather. So spending time with your family and friends, discussing things other than work is a great way of getting rid of all stress. And number 2, talk to somebody. So not in a way of like, hey, I'm going to talk to you about work because I'm doing it right now at home. I mean, talk to somebody about the things that are related to work and issues that you're dealing with. I know oftentimes many people think that they can't discuss their work-related issues with their family and friends, that it might lead them to worrying about all the work-related stresses, and they're going to start being concerned that it's going to take a toll on you. So I know we don't want to scare our family or our friends that we're having all this stress at work, but sometimes it's good to just utilize that friend, that closeness that you have, or that family member that understands you. So while there might be some truth in thinking that you could definitely run a friend off, unburdening your worries will essentially help you cope with the different situations and maybe find solutions. There are times when you just want to talk to somebody and you want to talk to them about what's happening in your life and issues that you're facing, and you're not maybe handling them the right way. So who better to discuss all this than with somebody who understands you inside and out, a close friend or family member. Doing this on and off, not all the time hopefully, but will help you feel better at the end of it. And on top of it, you might find a solution. Also, people who are close to you, they care about you. So be a friend to them as well, and listen when they need someday to just rant and rave. You can be their friend too. All right, so number 3, Set aside some me time. We're going to watch a video that will talk about me time, but it talks about how you want to keep a balance of me time while you're job searching and not indulge too much in me time. However, if you're working, you want to set aside the me time because you'll have rare opportunities for it. So do you follow a hobby? Do you like sports? Do you enjoy watching movies? Which ones? Out, in, Redbox, you know, what do you do? Do you read books? Do you have anything that you do on the weekend that brings you pleasure? Bike rides or whatnot. Weekends are time for some family and fun, so don't forget to give them your time as well. But if nothing else is going on, then go to the nearest park sometime early in the morning and take a long walk, and it will free your mind from all the troubles and just soak in the beauty of your surroundings and the sun a little bit. This is a time when you feel everything is right with the world, and you'll feel more satisfied with what you're doing and hopefully more satisfied with your achievements. So number 4, try to plan a vacation, even if it's not just that annual one. Maybe the one that's going to come up that month, something that you can look forward to, or even that weekend. A change of scenery in the bigger picture, like once a year, is probably the best. It helps get rid of all the stresses that are piling up. So plan a fantastic annual vacation that helps you get away from it all. Get your whole family into the act of identifying an ideal destination and planning that vacation. Planning it can be really fun too. Vacations are a perfect opportunity for you to unwind, relax, and re-energize your body to meet the grueling work schedule that you'll be facing when you get back from the holiday. Have fun and make sure to make this fun count. And then lastly, you want to think beyond work at the office. So go out for an after drink with your coworkers, or organize an office party, or discuss your fantasy baseball rankings, and a lot more just to get your mind off of work for some time throughout the course of the busy day. I know I will go and take walks in the afternoon. Once in the morning, once in the afternoon, so that way I just get my mind back recharged and ready for the next task. So this kind of like recharges your batteries and ensures that you don't feel that all the stress is on your back. There are some people who shut themselves off from the world around them when they're at the office, and while this might make them look at and appeal as the ideal employee, it does nothing to get rid of all the work stress. So just to wrap it up, I'm sure you've heard it a gazillion times, to stop stressing yourself out. Well, it's not like you have much of a choice or something. It comes with the territory, right? So the next best thing is to just deal with it, manage it, and also have some fun in the meantime. It's important that you come up with your own innovative way of dealing with work-related stress. So don't fall into the trap of not doing anything about it. Otherwise, you will end up destroying not just your professional life, but your personal life as well. All right. So next, I want to share with you this YouTube video from our professional development series on stress management that's by Brett Wetman, who is the manager over our business office. And he will be touching on some of the subjects of setting structural goals, and as well a bit on our subtopics today of prioritization and time management. For those of you who are watching from your smartphone, you may not be able to see this video, so be patient. We'll be back to the slideshow just momentarily. It won't last very long, like 8 minutes. And for those of you who will be watching the recording at a later date, you'll need to pause the recording now, copy the website, and paste it into a new web browser. Watch it, and then come back to the presentation. All right, let me go ahead and get this plugged in. Okay, give me 1 second. All right, how did everybody like that? Did you like that video? Brett did an awesome job. I'm so glad that we have the professional development series. Okay, and then just a little bit more On to go, we have prioritization and decision making next. Give me a little smiley face if you can see the continuation of my PowerPoint. Good? Okay, great. All right, well, prioritization is about working on things that are most important and not merely most urgent for the organization and for yourself, as well as placing the focus on a few important things that deliver results. Rather than spreading your energy too thin on too many different things, decision making is about making decisions at the right time, in the right way, for the right reasons. Making good decisions and being able to prioritize the work correctly will greatly aid the aid your effectiveness in the workplace. Sorry. So to further on that, I wanted to just share some of these things on prioritization. For effective people, prioritization is all about alignment. Here are some of the tenets of effective prioritization. For one, understanding the goals and objectives of the organization or the team that you're working with. So there's going to be priorities at work. They must be aligned with what the organizational goals and objectives are. And Brett was talking a little bit about recognizing what those are where you're working or when you're in your job search. What is the goal and objective? So depending on the work and the scope of influence that someone has, this may mean that on a team level or on a department level or in an organizational level. So if we're in the workforce, to achieve this alignment, these goals and objectives, I cannot talk today, and objectives must be understood very well. But this is not as easy as it sounds. Organizational goals are usually stated more generic than what is usable. So effective people will constantly try to interpret them and also use behaviors from their senior managers to understand what those objectives are better. So watch your boss, watch your colleagues. Actions speak louder than words so that you can get a real sense and understanding of what the team's goals, objectives, and what the company's direction is. And then secondly, you want to have understanding and anticipating the goal and objective of your manager peers, and also the reports. I know we have a lot of reports in our department as well, so since most of the work gets done with the involvement of one or more of the managers, there's always going to be some of your coworkers that's working alongside your manager, and there's going to be essentially reports and things that come in from that. So align your work goals with these people. If it's important to your boss, like the report, then it should be important to you. Otherwise, you'll either not get the support that you're wanting and it will cause frustration, and there'll be a lack of productivity. So understanding what the objectives are, because these people, they rarely are articulate with what that is, and there may be different meanings or reasons that a manager doesn't include you in the full picture. Maybe your manager doesn't even know that you don't understand what the goal is, or maybe they haven't shared that with you or with your peers. The reports may not even be safe enough for you to see because there's information that's proprietary. So talk with your boss. Talk with your peers that are with the boss and find out what's going on and get that information for yourself. And study the reports and be interested in them because bosses are typically very number oriented. All right, and then thirdly, understanding the gaps between the personal value system and your organization's value system. Many times we don't prioritize correctly because our personal value systems are in conflict with the organizational values as we are preceding them. So for example, where you're working, they may be focused on the delivery result. Well, while you may be focused more on employee training and growth. So this may make you prioritize or deprioritize work items in a way that is different from what's expected of you. So in such a case, effective people will try to come to the terms with this conflict by working with their boss, with their employer, to stay aware of these changes and what their expectations are. And then that way you can factor those in when you're making your priorities. And then lastly, willingness to revisit priorities when new data comes in. So this is where flexibility comes in again. The single biggest impediment to right prioritization is the inability to reprioritize when new data comes in. So the world changes so fast around us, and new information just keeps coming in, and technology is just crazy. It's important to revisit priorities based on new data and new realities. For example, say you work in an emergency room at a hospital. Some of you may be in the medical industry that you're studying. This may apply to you. That you might walk in with a severe tummy ache, and you may be the next one in line. So once you've gone in and saw the doctor, now you've got to go back in line to wait to get your x-ray results. And so you've been pushed back again and letting somebody else, you have to let them go first. So in real life, effective people, they keep reprioritizing their work constantly, and they stay aligned with the new information available to them. Let me see what some of the comments were that I probably missed and see if any relates. Oh, there was a lot of comments. Oh, they're a little bit lengthy. Okay, so if you have some comments, that's great, but I won't be able to read them all. So in this process is the decision making. I'll go ahead and go on with that. And with decision making, we already discussed these three different things. And then there's courage to actually make this decision come to reality. So first of all, there's the right process. A decision-making process is needed for every decision in order to make it transparent, fair, and robust. So high-quality decisions come out of a structured, self-making process. Decisions made under time pressure or other ways, they yield poor results. And effective people avoid those. There's many processes you can use, but it's important to pick one and make sure everyone involved understands your process so that you can be consistent. I'm not ever giving up. Oh, okay, we're still talking. All right, and then the next one is the right people. So identifying the right people within your organization, like we were talking about, with bosses and your supervisors. In some other companies, you may be dealing with stakeholders or clients or other contributors. It's critical for decision making because those who can be influenced and can influence the outcome need to be a part of the decision making process. So as you are needing to make decisions, you may incorporate other people's feedback and bring them in, because that's going to help you, give you the information that you need in order to make the right decision. This helps in buy-in as well as getting right input so that the right decisions can be made. And then of course there's the timing. A delayed decision is a decision itself, and most of the time it's a sub-optional decision. Therefore, effective people make sure that the decisions are made at the right timing. It may mean forcing a decision and with incomplete data even sometimes, or it may mean careful orchestration of the decision-making process. And either way, a decision that's made is the best under the circumstances. So delaying the decision, they're mostly, that's just a result of poor timing. Assuming that the right process and the right people are applied, an effective person will keep a sharp focus on deadlines for the decision-making process. So yeah, if you're wanting to really be effective, you will consider the deadline. And then finally is courage. And you'll see this in all leadership positions, that they display an immense amount of courage because they're being able to make the decision sometimes, like has been mentioned, with incomplete information. It takes courage. So while your gut can offer you a solution, it requires courage to accept it and implement it as a decision. Effective people and effective leaders possess this courage to make these decisions as deadlines approach, and then they execute hard to make it happen and make it work. Oh, good information today, isn't it? All right, so then on our last subject, we're going to talk about time management and productivity. So with time management, it's one of the hardest skills for people to manage on their own, it seems like. All right? There's a lot of discipline involved in that. So although some lucky people are able to manage their time efficiently, most people need a lot of practice to acquire it. The good news is that we live in a current state of technology development, so becoming organized could not be any easier. Let me talk a little bit more about that. All right, so with time management, thanks to faster hardware and more intuitive software being produced, it's literally automated. And one of the hottest computer technologies on the market right now are the tablet devices like the iPad and the Google Nexus. Productivity usually depends on many factors such as the working atmosphere, the actual time spent working, and the ability to make sound decisions. These tasks can be completed in a timely manner with the assistance of tablets or laptops or your phones, your smartphones. Oftentimes, employers allow their employees to use them at work. Plus, it's good to use them to gather information to prepare for an important meeting or presentation, such as what I do. I actually read all of my books off of ebooks on my iPad. It's portable. It allows me to choose a comfortable place where I can read and relax and really absorb the information. And it's beneficial for productivity in the workplace as well. So being connected to the internet has its advantages. For example, such as email, it can be used kind of like an older style pager where it can kind of bing, tells you that somebody is in need of something. So being able to receive messages for work-related things at any time is amazing. Even on my my cell phone, I have the Outlook from my work. So if there's a time where at work somebody needs me, it will ping on my phone when it's maybe my weekend or something. So if it's important information, I can attend to it. And that's what makes it so accessible for us, because we have internet everywhere now. So use it. It will help you manage your time. So that means like I can get access from anywhere, from coworkers, important things, social events, the weather. It's a big deal now. So being that it's available, you should really take advantage of the new technologies. Okay, there's also a number of mobile apps that help you manage your time and organize your work. You can download various calendar apps that can use numerous interfaces to present information in the way that you prefer. For those of us who have always found it hard to be disciplined workers and to organize our time properly, I know my tablet comes in pretty handy for me. And they've become our watchdog, and they help us to reduce our procrastinations, or to just have all of our information in one place ready to be accessed, that we can be working with all the time. Because I know I Google text. I know sometimes with my students I don't necessarily text from my phone number per se, I Google text. So I can do that right from my phone. So there's a lot of really great advantages with technology. So use it to help with your time management and to be more productive. All right, I told you this was a short one today. Organizational skills doesn't really incorporate a whole lot of different subjects, but these are the ones that are of most vital importance. So this is what we've learned today. We went over organization in the office. We can utilize in many different ways with our home environment, with our schooling environment, and whatnot. And then stress management, which we were able to watch the video on, and setting structured goals, prioritization, and decision making, and then time management and productivity. So that concludes our presentation on organizational skills. And I hope it brought you some valuable insight. So for those that attended the live recording, we've already taken your attendance. So all those who are attending Salt Lake Online, students of Stevens-Henager or Independence University will get a certificate already. And for those of you who are watching the recording, please email online.careerservices@stevenshenniker.edu and tell me which recording you listened to and on what date. We also need you to include what you've learned from the presentation in your email. So this is the time, and if anybody has any questions, I'm going to go over some of the resources in just a little bit. I'd like you to stay tuned for that. Any questions, though, that you had in today's presentation? Anything you'd like to suggest, too? I sure like to always, get in your feedback. If you like something, didn't. Okay. Well, so thank you for viewing each and every soft skills webinar. Please join us April 22nd when I'll be presenting on problem-solving skills. And then for additional resources, stay tuned. Okay, so here's the calendar for 2014. Save the date. You can see the top one there is April 22nd on problem solving. That'll be just in 4 weeks. And then here are the materials presented today. They came from these reliable sources. And I encourage you to take note of them, research them, and study them on your own time for additional valuable insight that I wasn't able to share in this presentation. And then the professional development series, as you can see, there are 22, and here's the website. I encourage you to go out there and watch every single one of them. They're very short, mini webinars that don't take any longer than 5 to 8 minutes. So there's the address there for you. And just so you know, this is not a certificate series, so you will not receive anything from viewing them. It's just for your own personal and professional development. And now to get to the other recordings, you'll see in Shark that the first 2 recordings are on there already from January and February. If you'd like to watch the old series of soft skills from 2013 or 2012, they are available on Shark as well. Also, by watching any of the recordings, they're all eligible for certificates. There's the website. You want to click on videos and webinars and then scroll about halfway down the page and you'll see the soft skills come up. So have a good time in watching those. And then lastly, I just wanted to show you our wonderful department that we have put together here. You'll see everybody's information, so if you have a pen handy still, if you recognize who your advisor is, or if you don't know who your advisor is, you want to email us and ask. But this is our department, and there's all of our phone numbers there if you need any one of us. All right. Any other questions? Anything that I can answer for you today? Okay. Well, it was so good presenting to you this evening, and you guys have a great rest of your night.